Okay, everyone, welcome to Indicat Online 2021 Creator Connect. For this panel, we will be joined by Ma'am Nina Torralba and Sir Bernie Mercado with Sir Sampay and Ma'am Hansel Dimapilis. They are from Kalabaw Kollektib, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Ma'am Nina.
Hi, I'm Nina Torralba. I co-write Katipunera Warrior and with Bernie Mercado, along with our artists Sampay for Katipunera Warrior and Hansel for Spirit Sprints. I'm also collaborating with Bernie on other comic projects. Kasama na dun yung Labor Day and a couple of other comic series that are early in development. I will also have a solo project that will be a prequel sequel for one of our comic series. Hindi ko muna i-announce kung ano yun, but it will be a light novel, I think. I'm seeing it as a light novel for now.
Sir Bernie.
And I thank you.
I'm Bernie Mercado. I co-write Katipunera Warrior and Spirit Sprints with Nina. And I also, apart from my collaborations with Sampay and Hansel, I also collaborate with other artists also part of our collective. And I'm also kind of like the editor of our group. And apart from that, I'm also the managing editor of FanLab, which is currently on break.
Ma'am Hansel.
Hello, my name's Hansel, or just Hans. I'm the illustrator for Spirit Sprints. I also like put input, so they call me a co-writer, but really I'm more of primarily the illustrator. Aside from Spirit Sprints, I also made Enchantment, which is on PenLab, Smile, and currently I'm working on a graphic novel called Starscaping. So it's a fantasy children's graphic novel. There. So that's my current part so far. Oh, now you, Sampay.
Yeah, Sir Sampay.
Hi. I'm Sampay. I illustrate Katipunera Warrior, and aside from Katipunera Warrior, I also made Super Proxies.
Okay. So all of you are part of yung comic collective na Kalabaw Kollektib?
Yes.
So basically,
You told me
ating okay, basically yung Komikon Indicat for this year may nag-suggest na mag-connect ng mga creators, since there are a lot of other creators na like writers who are looking for artists. Ewan ko sa mga artists if they're looking for writers. Most of yung mga artist creators sa community are both writers and artists. So somebody suggested that it would be nice if magkaroon ng parang connecting activity. So yun yung naging tema nitong Indicat this year. So as collaborators, we would like everyone listening or watching this video kung malaman yung paano kayo nagka-work together or para pag sila na yung makikipag-collaborate with other people, may idea na sila. So among the questions na binigay sa akin is, how did you find each other? Anybody who wants to answer first?
Dito parang love story lang eh. How did you find each other?
Actually, parang ganun nga yung collaborations with other creators. It's like a relationship talaga. Kasi if it doesn't work na on the same wavelength kayo with anything, di mag-work yung book na ginagawa. So yun nga, question, how did you guys find each other?
Okay, I'll go first since ako naman nag-invite sa lahat. Originally, yung Kalabaw Kollektib, it was a group na pinorm namin ni Mick Fajardo with Jay Mason. uh, basically we wanted to do a group na where writers and artists will collaborate with each other. So we made Kalabaw Kollektib to start, and then we scouted some artists to join with us. So may friend kami who nung time ko pa sa film, kasi galing ako from film. When we tried to make movies before, yung production designer ko doon is friends with James, si Bea Salcedo. And siya basically yung tawag dito nag-matchmake sa amin ni James na I asked yung friend namin na kakilala ka bang parang artists who's interested to work with writers ka na. So that time kasi hindi pa ako masyadong regular sa cons. So I didn't know a lot of artists yet.
Yeah.
Ayun. So that's how we met James, and then we pitched him an entire deck of concepts. Parang mga 5 concepts ata yun. Tapos di ba si James before is known for super proxies. So yung expect namin na kukunin ni James is yung superhero na comedy namin.
Meron kang gusto
i-add
doon?
Yung Katipunera Warrior. So yun.
Well, kasi
It's basically very random lang.
Saka gusto ko rin ng ibang genre
sige,
naman.
James, ikaw muna.
Hindi, okay na. Ano ko lang naman.
Ayun.
Tapos with Ma'am Hansel, paano naman kayo
Nina, go first.
I was thinking din kasi of I was thinking din kasi of my side of that story going into our I've been film org together in college. So bali dati screenplay yung sinusulat namin. And that went on for a bit after college until yun nga we decided to shift our focus to comics, and basically we've been bouncing ideas off each other, and that turned into comics collaboration. We're still thinking about the same things in comics as we are in film kasi it's as visual as film, if not more, kasi naka-freeze sa isang image yung bawat panel, as opposed to film, which is constantly moving, and some frames can get lost in an entire shot, that kind of stuff. So we found Hans after we came up with this basic idea of we were inspired by a film by Makoto Shinkai, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, and we pitched a concept to Hans, who was introduced to us again through a common friend. I believe it was James. James, was that you who Sincere. Okay.
So,
ang dami na kasi nating ang dami na kasi nating collaborators, kaya sometimes the stories get lost in the
Sinisi is kind of like our PR person or strategist sa group. Ayun.
So so it started with a pitch. How did it end up like this? Sure. So it started with that pitch, and Hans more than Hans did not just receive the idea. She also became attached to developing the story, which was super helpful in refining Spirit Sprints to what
Are we supposed to also like give our side to this story?
I was just about to ask you.
Sige, ayun nga, kagaya nga nung sinabi ni Bernie, in-invite ako, chinat ako ni Bea Salcedo. Then, parang may naghahanap daw ng artist, ganito, ayun. So, sinabi ko, sige, tingnan ko kung okay yung story, gano'n, yung mga stories na i-pitch niya. So, ayun, yung chinat na ako ni Bernie, ayun, pinili ko yung Katipunera Warrior dahil kasi nga, ayun, gusto ko lang kasi ng more on action naman since since yung Super Proxy is slice of life comedy na gusto ko maiba naman. So, ayun. Then, ayun na. Nag-collab na kami. Ano ba?
Pero before Bernie, nakipag-collab ka ba with any other creators?
Well, hindi po.
Sa
Ito
grill
yung
lang
parang
siguro.
first time kong may pag-collab.
Hindi kasi
Sa grill
if
Hindi,
I
sa
remember
grill.
correctly, I saw your work with Michael David's Kubori Kikiam.
Okay. Ano lang ako doon, nag-tone lang ako ng mga pages niya, tsaka ako yung gumawa din ng mga
Covers.
ibang mga pubs, mga posters, ganun, covers.
Kasi distinct yung yung coloring style mo eh. Parang pag nakita mo yung color, alam mo kagad na ikaw yung gumawa eh. So parang kino-confirm ko lang kasi baka namalikmata ako na iba yung gumawa nun. Pero alam ko ikaw yung gumawa nun. Ikaw, Hansel.
Well, yeah, yun. Ano pala? Yan.
For me, I knew Bernie and Nina because of Sampay. I don't go online much, but whenever I go online, makita ko yung work ni Sampay. Makita ko, Huy, Sampay, ito naman siya. And then I will always see the name, Bernie Mercado, Nina Torralba. So, collaboration! Meron kaming idea dito, baka gusto mo. So that's basically what happened. And the first thing that went through my mind is, okay, so si Sampay, kasi kami ni Sampay, batchmates kami sa org in college. So kilala ko siya. Iniisip ko, hindi naman siguro siya makipag-collaborate with sketchy people. So I thought, sige, mabigyan nga to ng try, mabasa nga. And then I checked it and I was really interested dun sa concept. Although, if I remember Bernie and Nina, I brought it back with like so many comments na, uy, paano to? How does this work?
We were so nervous.
Diba?
nung inaabangan namin yung reply niya, tsaka nung bumalik na, oh my God, ang haba nito.
No, because I really wanted a good idea of how the world works. Kasi nga, para sinabi nga ni Sir John Tinina, super intensive yung collaboration of making comics. And right before you go into it, you want to make sure that you're on the same page. So, mas maganda nang you ask all of your questions right now before going into a project rather than commit to it. So, ngayon mo nang malalaman na, ito pala yung ganito pala ito. So, I asked them about timeline, how the world works. Parang I asked for a meeting na, pwede ba natin ito ma-develop? So, in a way, it was a step for me to get equally invested dun sa story so that we feel like all of the creators of the comic have a stake on the project. Yun, di ba? So, yun, tip sa mga artists na parang gusto mo pag-collaborate sa writers, don't be afraid to ask questions. Go lang.
And don't
List
be
it
afraid
down.
of questions. Take the
Yeah.
questions and the questions will help you think outside of what you've already come up with and further flesh out the world. Super nakakatulong.
Okay. So medyo kakaiba yung dynamic ng collaboration nyo with each other. Kasi most of yung mga na-interview na namin is yung strict na 1:1. Kasi yung one writer, one artist. So meron tayong parang collaboration within a collaboration. We have 2 writers. So paano yung dynamic of 2 writers working together? Well, yun ngang part ninyo with Hansel, 3 kayo eh. Kasi Hansel is a great writer.
Parang,
Also si Sampay, meron din siyang experience in writing kasi he also writes yung sarili niyang work. So, paano yun? Start tayo with Nina and Bernie, yung writing process niyo.
In that
Kasi-
order, or siya muna?
Kayo, sino gusto mag-start?
Tara, bato-topic tayo.
Sige, ako muna.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, yung co-writing process namin ni Nina is, well, ako yung nag-layout ng script. And then, but kami ni Nina, we go through it together. So, brainstorming. Pero ako yung nag-layout mismo dun sa final product. And then, check niya ulit. And then, siya din yung gagawa ng translation later on. So, ganun yung division namin. So, we go through the plot. And kadalasan kasi, what we do, parang it's not really na let's set aside a time na let's talk about the story. Parang since lagi kami nag-uusap din. So, namin concepts na we just throw around.
Minsan
At the same
nagigising
time.
ako. May bago siyang
From time to
sasabihin
time.
sa akin.
Tapos, may isip ng isa na gamitin natin to sa comic na to, ganyan. So, ganun.
Minsan may send din siyang music. Sabi niya, parang ganito yung yung theme. Ganun.
uy, sobrang helpful nun yung music, mga music playlist.
So, ang binibigay niyo with your artist or different with case to case? Full scripts na.
Yes, full. Per chapter. Na full script.
Pero yeah, right, it's full script na as in nakalatag na per page is what happens.
Yeah, nakalatag siya per page pero it's very flexible.
Yeah.
Kadalasan si katulad ni James.
Minsan,
nag-giveaway siya a lot.
minsan di nasusunod.
Yeah.
Yun.
Kasi iba rin eh. Iba rin yung visual na person
Hindi naman kami yung-
magbasag ng ng sequence.
True.
So, kasi I know a lot of collaborations na yung parang Marvel style. If you're familiar with the Marvel style of writing. Yung wherein yung the writer, since alam nila na yung collaborator nila is mas visual yung mag-breakdown, ang binibigay nila is a plot or an idea, story concept to the artist. Or a sequence of scenes lang, hindi siya full script. Tapos the artist yung gagawa nun per page. Tapos saka lang babalik sa writer. Sa kanila yung script.
Oh.
Hindi kayo ganon.
No, and actually, it's funny that you did break down the Marvel process kasi yung mas pino pang pag-breakdown ng work process namin ni Bernie is may mas division pa may mas pinong division pa yung pagsulat namin before he even writes the script kasi mas big picture and world building ako mag-isip. And I have a lot of very specific scenes na sobrang far ahead. Minsan pa nga minsan some of these scenes are from the prequel sequel of the thing that we're writing together. Tapos ikikwento ko kay Bernie and he's like, I'm gonna steal that. Tapos ilalagay niya sa script. Pero yun, so he's also very invested in the world building. Pero where I don't step in as much is yung super specific scenes. Siya yung mas siya yung mas nagfa-flesh out nung specific scenes on paper, and I'm gonna come in, ask questions about this. How does this look like? How can we improve this? Ano yung implications nito? And then it comes together before the script is formed, and then whoosh, artist.
Mm. Tapos after nun, nagbibigay ka rin ng input, I'm sure, Sir Sampay, when you get the script.
Merong mga nagbibigay din ako ng input. Minsan meron ko lang kunwari may mga ibang panas din ko pwedeng ilagay sa next page na para ayun nga may element of surprise, mga ganun.
Kasi meron din naman yung di ba? Meron din mga writers na
minsan mas okay.
Sige, sure. What's that?
Ano yun? Sorry.
Ano yung sinasabi mo? Sorry, na-cut off kita. Akala ko tapos na yung statement mo.
Ayun nga, minsan nga merong mga panels na maganda ilagay sa next page na instead of magkasama sa isang page, meron ding mga scenes na pwedeng magkakasama, ganun. Ayun. Pero sinusunod ko pa rin naman siya, pero merong mga iba na medyo binabago ko. Kasi rin siyempre, pag hindi ko sinunod lahat yun, minsan hindi masusunod yung page count, minsan kami, nadami yung pages.
Sa naman yun, sa post-prod naman yung problem. Yung sasabihin ko sa inyo is, yung isa pa namang school of thought about writing things is yung tinatawag nilang DC style, which is more of Alan Moore na style, which is yung sobrang rigid na script. Yung sobrang yung sobrang per panel dinescribe na niya. Tapos parang wag mong gagalawin kasi masisira.
Medyo mahirap.
Hindi kayo ganun kasi pag minsan mga ganun talaga.
Pag si Bernie naman, pag mag-describe naman siya, minsan, minsan instead na i-describe niya in words, mag-isanda lang siya ng picture. Merong picture doon sa scripts. Tapos, ayun, ito yung mga pegs, ganun. Tapos, siyempre, since picture yun, maraming interpretation din yun, siyempre, di ba? Pwede kami gumawa ng sarili naming versions.
Meron din akong kilalang writer.
Meron kaming
nagbibigay siya ng scripts na may mga stick figures ng idea niya kung ano yung tsura ng per panel.
Yeah, minsan nagbibigay siya ng music para to go with yung parang yung mood, yung storya, or ayun, nag-send din siya ng pictures, mga images, mga reference, ganun, kung ano yung magiging parang peg. Para instead na, describe nyo sa words, mas okay na yung picture. Kasi visual naman yung comics eh.
So with si Hansel, ganun din yung way niyo to work with her?
For us, it's similar na they give me a script, I read through it, and then I give my comments. Usually after giving my comments, they revise it before giving it back to me. And once I feel na parang it's already like more polished, mas, how do you say this? Parang mas put together na siya, I start the thumbnails. And parang tulad kay Sampay, usually kasi parang, di ba, they medyo concise yung pages. But for me, if I feel na mas bagay to, I always sort of like extend it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, the one that I like about yung pagkasulat ni na Bernie and Dina is that, from what I get from Bernie is that he read my previous works first, so that he has a sense. They have like a sense of how I break down my panels, so that when they give the script to me, they already have an idea of how I do my paneling, yung pacing ko. So that's one thing that I appreciated dun sa ginawa nila. Yeah. Pero yeah, similar before. Parang may pictures, yung script. Then, the other day, I asked them, guys, please send me songs. I need motivation to draw. So yun, nagbigay naman sila ng songs. May playlist na ako yun sa YouTube that I just like keep listening to whenever I feel the need to get down to work dun sa comic mismo. Yeah, that's our like collaborative process so far.
Mm-hmm. So, ganun kayo mag-work with each other. Another question here is, paano kayo mag-collaborate with other persons? Is it the same or like I heard nga kay Hansel, tailor-made pala yung how you write yung script nyo kasi you research kung paano siya magsulat din.
Do the writers wanna go first with that? Yung mga other collaborative process.
Sorry. To add lang wala dun sabi ni Hansel kanina.
Go lang.
Ayun, I think sinabi ko rin to kanina before. No.
Nawawala na naman ata ako.
Writer's philosophy na yung thing natin is susulat yung pages. So parang yun yung reference points ko whenever we finally do the script. Ayun.
Okay. So,
as for working with other artists, John.
Yeah, sure. Continue.
And as for working with artists, I think yung pinakaiba lang na experience ko so far is with Chen Lapus, Chemical Comics. Mostly same lang kasi but he what's this? He works with so much instinct. So parang he gets you into space. So you have to adjust to that. Ayun. Ano specifically? Medyo mahirap i-explain. Pero it works out for us and ang ganda nung napoproduce pa rin.
Okay. Let's talk about yung ano yan? Sorry, na-chopped yung connection ko. So, ang naririnig ko lang is bits and pieces pag minsan.
Yung with Chen kasi, as in, he is also rewriting the script as he...
Oh, so nire-rewrite niya yung script that you give to him?
Yeah, as he goes on. So parang may mga stuff doon na hindi ko sinama or hindi namin discuss. But then, it becomes his own thing. So, okay lang sa akin yun. And then, nag-adjust ako na inaaral ko rin yung dinadagdag niya. And then, it becomes part of the entire world na ito, nilagay niya to dito. Kasama na siya dun sa lore that we are building. Wow. So, yun lang yung isang collab ko na medyo iba. Okay lang sa akin. Actually, challenging. It's a nice challenge.
Medyo, pero from the start, napag-usapan nyo naman yun na that's the way he works.
Yeah. Napag-usapan namin somewhat. Pero, yeah.
Kasi I know some writers take offense if you change something like drastic dun sa way of him writing. Parang yung pinaka-famous na nun is siguro yung mga 90s na artist that would instead of follow the grid format na nandun sa script, is yung mahilig sila mag-peg ng tinatawag nilang yung parang key na panel, tapos yun yung malaki. Drawing nila ng malaki, tapos weird na nung paneling nila. Tapos
Yung parang nagawa lang namin.
an older writer took offense na parang pinapili yung editor na it's either you take them out or I'm walking. Tapos yun, at yung end is nag-walk yung writer. So,
yung other thing na lang that we do pala is minsan may gusto si Chen na i-add. Kasi mag-enumerate siya ng mga stuff na ilalagay ko kung ganyan. Like, instinctively lang, sasabihin niyo bigla out of nowhere. May message niya out of nowhere na, yun, gusto ko ilagay ito, ganyan. Tapos, sabihin ko lang kung ano yung pwedeng ilagay, ano yung bawal ilagay. Ganun. As he works on the pages, yun, nagdadagdag siya ng stuff na wala dun sa script. Tapos sabihin niya, tatanong niya ako kung pwede ba itong ilagay, ganyan.
Okay. So one thing din na tanong usually ng mga first-time collaborators is, how do you compensate each other? Like, for example, some writers, yun yung pinaka-common na tanong ngayon sa messages sa Indicat is, do we have to pay the artist? Vice versa din. Some artists are looking for, hindi actually writers they're looking for scripters kasi they have yung idea na, they have a concept that they want to do, pero they're not particularly confident with their writing. So they want somebody na mag-flesh out ng kwento nila in written form. So how do you guys work yung do you share expenses, share profits, ganyan?
Ayun, dito.
Or
for expenses, like, it's okay. For expenses, for marketing, you should mostly kami sumasagot, kami sa print cost. But for the profit, ayun, hati-hati kami. But basically, since dalawa kaming 40% yung sa writer, 40% sa artist. So hati pa kami ni Nina together.
Meron kasi rin ako na-encounter sa different panel. When they started daw, they started 50-50. Started 50-50 with everything. 50-50 expenses, tapos 50-50 sa profits. Tapos eventually, naging mas malaki yung kay artist. Only because daw mas malaki yung kanyang ginagawang, yung mas time consuming yung ginagawa niya or something. So yun sa inyo is you shoulder the expenses for printing and the marketing, and then you split the profits minus the expense for the production and the marketing.
Yeah, tapos pinipitch din namin for pub deals, so kami yung
For what?
nagma-manage nun. Ayun.
Okay. So the work is co-owned? Is that correct? So Katipunera Warrior is co-owned by Bernie, Nina, and Sampay. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that goes with Hansel's title as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so last question na tayo. What would be your advice for creators that are looking to collaborate with other creators? Writers with artists and vice versa, artists with writers. Who would like to start?
Who'd like to go first?
Hansel.
uh, like, at the top of my head, ang iniisip ko, like, really polish your skills first. So if you're an illustrator, make sure that you're giving your best in your illustrations. At least, parang alamin mo yung pacing, garal ka about layouts, all of that. If you're a writer, like, when you're gonna give a script, make sure na walang errors. At least proofread mo muna siya bago mo siya ibigay. Make it so that when you pitch your work or your art or an idea, the person immediately becomes interested of working with you. Does that make sense? Because for me, when I saw yung pitch deck sa Spirit Sprints, because maybe for me, I already knew that Sampay was working with them, so I already trusted them. But I was just very interested in the potential of the work, and the more that we talked about the work, the more I became invested in it. So yeah, so if I have like any advice, like, just make sure to give your best and polish your skills first before going into a project. There.
Question lang, Hansel. Is this the first time that you have worked with different writers for
This
comic
is
books?
yeah. Because yung na-experience ko lang is in college na ako yung writer, tapos iba yung artist ko. So yun yung na-experience ko.
Okay. So ano lang rin, from what you said, if you are going to be yung receiving parang professional work, you'd be surprised how sloppy yung writing nila.
I know.
Oh, no comment.
I know because I do work on like comic projects na babasahin ko, and I'm like, just like shake your head. Oh.
Especially may funny na story ako with Hansel kasi si Hansel attended one of yung workshops ng Komikon.
Yes.
Tapos yung panel speaker namin, si Sir Ace, just attended another workshop kung saan si Hansel yung speaker.
What?
Yeah, I remember sinasabi ni Ace yung naka-attend lang din niya na writing workshop tapos si Hansel yung speaker.
Yeah, I think this was for yung graphic Shakespeare competition. Yeah. So I remember seeing them like, oh no, it's Sir. I feel like that Spider-Man meme. It's you. So.
Pero karamihan, when you're collaborating with somebody, ang makikita mo usually is hindi pa yung final na work.
True.
So, as a professional that I've worked with a lot of scripts, lalo na since back end ako, I used to do, yung work ko talaga is post-prod, which is lettering and toning. Makikita mo talaga yung sloppiness ng everything before it becomes polished. Especially if you are a letterer, since ka yung sasagot nung brunt nung editing ng lahat when it comes from yung proofreaders and yung editors na.
I remember nga, so I think you talked about it in your workshop about how important it is na hindi sloppy yung lettering. Because I think I remember this from you, na kapag sloppy yung, I mean, if the lettering is good, you don't notice it. But if the lettering's bad, it jumps out at you. So
it's one thing lagi kong tinuturo is when you're doing post-production work, your work should not be noticeable. True. If your work is not noticeable, you've done your job. And you've done it well. Kasi if it outshines yung actual na work, or yung sobrang pangit niya na nadidistract yung tao, so may something wrong sa ginawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why long ago yung collaborations ng Filipino artists with foreign creators was kind of a big push and pull because distinct ng mga style ng Filipino. So,
Well, yeah. One thing about yung Filipino, they call them finishers
Mm.
because they actually gave them like layouts. Well, they're not actually layouts. They gave them actual pencils na they're just supposed to ink it.
Thank
Pero
you.
parang nasa nature ng Filipino na hindi i-render namin ng ganito to.
This way.
So parang yung mga old school na Conan, old school na mga barbarian types, western types, gaganda ng quill work ko. So yeah. Yan. Any other advice for yung people searching for collaborations? I know maganda yung advice ni Hansel, pero
Yeah.
for those who are going to collaborate, parang
Don't be too
masasabi ko lang
pressured.
is while maganda na you put your best foot forward lagi, don't expect na you'd get
It
the
will
same.
be received immediately. Yeah. Or reciprocate yung your efforts as well.
Mhm. Ano lang, tinetemper
yeah,
ko lang yung
sometimes it's going to be a
expectations.
long
Yeah.
discussion.
Oh, sorry, Nina.
Yeah. Ano, sorry. Yeah, sometimes it's going to be a long discussion kasi either the idea isn't polished yet or there's something about or baka may blinders ka na hindi mo pa nakikita from the outside yung yung how the idea is taking form. So that's one thing that a collaboration is good for. You get a different set of eyes uh to test what you've got against, and your collaborator is going to come in from a different perspective that may not align with yours, pero you always have to show up for that, even if it's just to say what you like or what you don't like na pwedeng ma-improve out of the work so far. You have to be present with feedback, and you have to be receptive. You're sculpting this thing together, and
Yeah. Mhm.
that's why it's important then to share your influences. You don't have to be absolute fans of all of your collaborators' interests, pero if you can see where they're coming from, and if you can share where you're coming from, that's super helpful when meeting halfway.
Yeah, actually maganda yung point na yun na you're polishing the work together. You're making it better together. Yeah. Anybody else? Sampay, sir.
Ayun, siguro, communication, laging magtanong kung kung may hindi naintindihan or parang medyo vague yung description, ganun. Basta yan, communication.
Actually maganda yun kasi meron na mga collaborators na yung mawawala sila for months at end. Tapos akala mo, wala na. Parang okay, so maghanap na ako na ibang artist. Tapos parang malapit na yung event. Uy, natapos ko na. Ha? Yung hindi magpapakita sa'yo hindi sila nagpapakita sa'yo dahil parang hindi pa nila tapos. Iniisip nila dapat tapos na yung work. Maganda if at all stages you show yung collaborator nyo what's happening with what yung work. It's not like
and the thing
you
is,
get
it's not
something.
just the thing with that is it's not just the work that will suffer if you don't show up. It's as collaborators, you're each other's first and biggest cheerleaders. So that could affect the work in other ways if you're not present for your collaborator. So be
Yeah,
there.
parang you don't need to do it alone or yung kailangan solohin mo until matapos mo yung perceived mo na load mo bago mo ipakita dun sa collaborator mo. Mas magandang every step of the way makita mo.
Tsaka
Para,
dapat, ayun din, pinapakita mo rin yung mga pages na nagawa mo if, ayun nga, if tama ba yung
yeah,
parang medyo malapit yung story sa, yung, ano ba to, yung na-imagine nilang story.
yeah.
It's also good to get like motivation and inspiration. Like, hi guys, look, here's an artwork, here's a character design, or here's a page. Then they will say, wow, ang ganda, nice one. And then you just feel more motivated to work on it. Because, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you have like those dull moments na, oh my gosh, ang dami ko pang pages ka lang tapusin. And then you show it to them, and they seem so happy. Isipin mo, yes naman, gagawin ko na nga. So, you know, those like little pushers.
Actually, yung little
Always
things na
positive
yun,
encouragement.
yung ganun, yung immediate na input dun sa work na nagawa na, however small it may be,
True.
nagpo-push nung ball until it builds momentum talaga. Meron kasi talagang ibang artist na pag hindi siya nabibigyan ng input. Kasi meron din na, yung on our part din, meron kaming writer na yung different end ng spectrum na sinabi ko, yung artist na hindi nagpapakita for months at end. Meron din kaming writer na hindi nagbibigay ng input hanggat hindi tapos. So that's difficult din. Kasi parang tama ba ito ginagawa natin? Parang bakit parang walang comment or anything?
Yeah, and always dapat it should be positive encouragement, hindi yung nanunumbat or whatever.
Well, meron kasi iba talagang, meron talaga, you will find collaborators or employers or clients na yung way nila to encourage would be to nitpick the most smallest of stuff dun sa ginagawa.
Oh no.
Parang, this is a 6.75 by 10.25 comics. Hindi na makikita yung sobrang liit na kotse dyan sa parking lot.
But I just wanted to add it.
Parang, yun yung pinaka-funny na nakita kong comment. Parang may kotse far end ng siguro mga 2x3 na panel. Tapos it's a parking lot. Tapos may dalawang kotse dun sa farthest end nun. Tapos sabihin niya yung tint ng windshield is hindi daw maganda.
Oh my God. Problema na yun nung nagpatent ng kotse. Okay.
Tapos what's funny
It's an
is,
in-universe problem.
sa post-production, matatakpan siya ng balloon.
Parang minsan lang, parang sa agency lang yun minsan eh.
Yeah.
Ganun.
Sometimes kasi yun nga, if you're gonna be working for somebody or some company, there are persons that want to give input para lang masabi na kasali sila.
Okay. Noted.
Yun nga. Why yung noted is noted. Sige. Sir Bernie, advice for our creators.
Paano ba? Yun, I agree dun sa sinabi ni Hans din na develop yung concept or make it interesting enough na parang worth it ba to ng other people's time. Ganun. And the other thing then is if you're a writer, I think, at least have some sort of plan. Lalo na kung series pala.
Yeah.
Like I think dapat clear kasi lahat from the start. So, I mean, you're trying to get people to work with you kasi. So, that's their time and their life. So, parang, saan ba pupunta? What do we want to achieve? Parang it doesn't have to be so rigid naman na dapat may anime tayo next year. Hindi naman dapat yun. So parang ano lang na parang may mga milestones ka na parang may gusto ko na ma-achieve ganyan. Or it could be very grassroots na ganito lang yung aim natin ganyan. So para clear yun kasi I think may mga nakakausap ako sometimes about collabs tapos lagi yung concern nila is hindi clear yung working ganun. So it would be great if clear lahat yun dun sa mga ka-collab mo.
Yeah.
And one other thing siguro, lalo na if you're collaborating on a series, is don't be too married to what you had in mind first.
Mm-hmm.
Parang, yeah, it could get better din kasi when somebody else looks at it, like yung sa Spirit Sprints namin ni Hansel and Nina. Originally, it was gonna have a drag. Ayun, mga ganong things. And then I realized, nung nag-send si Hans ng very long email, I realized, ang cringe pala ng mga ideas ko dito. So parang medyo na-challenge talaga kami na ayusin na yun. So I guess that's one good thing then about collaborations na when you can bring the best out of each other.
Yeah, maganda yan na same page kayo na kung nasaan kayo at kung ano yung gusto nyo ma-achieve with the project. Kasi you'd find collaborators that are just looking for yung fun. It's just gonna be fun. Parang tapusin natin to. Pareho tayo masaya. Tapos we have yung collaborators that have a specific vision, specific goal, kung ano yung magiging project natin. So yan, dapat pareho kayo wavelength. Usually yung for fun, usually yun yung mga collaborators that are working in the same studio. Tapos what they're doing is a break from what they're doing. Ang daming kong collaborations na ganun with a art studio. Yun yung pinaka parang pros of working at a studio. Kasi you have yung mga burst of spontaneity, parang sobrang kagaguhan lang na gawa tayo ng gantong comics. Tapos yung comics na to is we're just making fun of another comics na lalabas nung time na yun. Tapos it's things that yung mga collaboration na parang 2 days, 3 days nyo lang ginawa. It's so much different from yung a project that you invested time in. So there are projects talaga na ganon. So yun nga, one thing na kailangan nyo talaga when you're gonna start to collaborate with another creator is yung set niya yung goals nyo together.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good advices. Thank you for joining us for Creator Connect. If you are going, baka gusto nyong i-promote nyo yung works nyo where people can find your works. Especially yung Pen Lab, of course.
You can read our works on Pen Lab and follow us sa Kalabaw Kollektib page where we also promote a lot of other comics, not just ours. So you can read a lot of comics sa Pen Lab.
Ayun nga, si Sir Bernie kasi I guess mas kilala ka nga now for Pen Lab. Pero I know kasi as a creator myself, most of the time people don't know na nag-create din ako ng comics and most of the time ang alam lang nila is I do Komikon. Yeah. Sir Bernie is a great writer. Gawa siya ng maraming collaborations with different artists. So, could read his works sa Pen Lab din. Ayun yung pag minsan nakakalimutan din ng mga tao eh.
No.
So, alam ko yung feeling ng ganun.
Sad.
Hindi naman sad. It's just the way it is. Parang pag minsan kung mas kilala ka for something that you're doing, something else that you're doing, pero you're also doing that other thing na hindi nila masyado pinapansin. Yun. So, thank you again for joining us for IndieCat 2021 Creator Connect. Thank you to all our panelists for this video panel. Support their works.
Maraming salamat.
Sorry sa mga technical difficulties ko. Dapat si Sherry lang talaga yung nag-host na mga ganito. And yun, thank you. Marami pa tayong ibang panels. For people who are watching this, just keep checking yung Facebook page ng IndieCat. Thank you, guys.